Here's where I want to talk a little bit about the different rule systems that you might encounter. And rather than go through each and every one of them in a real kind of critique way, we'll focus just on the two biggies, which are RuneQuest and HeroQuest. And RuneQuest as a game system is best understood as causal blocks. Every game mechanic is representative of a piece of what's in the setting, in the fiction. And it has qualities that are quantified, for that piece. The idea is, okay, I like to use the example of an axe. You've got this axe, and an axe of this kind has this damage that it does. It weighs this many, encumbrance units. And if you have your character pick it up and give it to that other character, it's going to be the same axe. They might have a different skill. They might have a different damage bonus, but the axe as the block travels, as a mechanic from here to there. And everything's pretty much like that. It's a percentage-based system in terms of resolving things. There are actually several different resolution mechanics kind of rubbing shoulders, and redundancies or gaps are found because of that. Every version has its own way to kind of cope with that. And then still, though, the nice thing about whatever compatibilities you discover among its different resolution pieces, they're all very easily extrapolated to any situation, or almost any situation. Sometimes I'm sort of dumbfounded at the table going, how do I resolve that without just making it up? But if you squint a little bit, you're familiar with the way the different numbers work. You can probably, jimmy up some way that you can get it into resolution form. And it has this very strong sense of solidity to it per piece. So RuneQuest is also very important in that you don't really have character classes, not even by default or implicitly. Instead, everybody's basically, I guess, what you could call a specialist or a generalist, or, kind of a rogue without the sense of, criminality and sneakiness necessarily. Everybody's just kind of their own array of basic skills. The way in RuneQuest you change and develop more of a fantasy identity. In some of the versions, you have a bit more to start in terms of having got a few bits of prior experience, but you don't have that much. It's still pretty generic. And whatever you do, you can get better at. And that's actually pretty important. So a character tends to find direction simply through the vagaries of what they succeed at early on. So you can start playing, your character who's running around with a short sword and a shield and, trying to survive. And who knows? You don't know whether they're going to end up being a grand priest. You don't know whether they're going to end up being a spindly scholar somewhere when they're aged. You don't know if they're going to become a mighty champion. You're just going to play. And circumstances, different dice rolls, the character will grow. So that's really an important point. Some of it's extremely mechanistic. I like to say that combat can sometimes just play itself. Some of it's real open in terms of pure weird interactions and the resultant roles. Shamanistic spirit magic is a really good example of that. One thing you should know as well about RuneQuest, kind of, again, this is sensu lato. The different kinds of RuneQuest all fade certain pieces of this in or fade certain pieces of it back. But there's sort of two tiers of play. There's the running around, concerned with, your debts and your income and your employment and your lifestyle and getting better at things. Then there's kind of a quantum shift. There's an intermediate phase when your character gets involved with a temple or a cult. The term here is used very much as the root of culture. It means that the religion has a community identity and function rather than being, imposed from far away as a doctrine. So that's what we mean by cult in RuneQuest. And so you become typically part of a cult, and all sorts of special magic and abilities and things are involved with that. And you have relations with the, other people in the cult, some of whom think they have authority over you. And anyway, with all this going on, typically characters, or some of them, may become either a rune lord or a rune priest. And that's really like a different bump into play. The fundamental variables, the attribute called power, life or death, divine intervention, all of these things become primary to your character. Rune lord being very much a master of war in service to the cult or to the god, not necessarily always the other members of the cult, and has a great deal of presence and oomph in terms of the relationship of the cult to the rest of the world. And then you have rune priests who are themselves in many ways shaping what the religion actually means socially. So you really are taking a grand hand in the conflicts of the setting when you hit that level of play. And again, the whole question of, oh no, I might live or die when that troll hits me, is nowhere near as important as it used to be, not because you're invulnerable, but because you relate magically to the world and the gods differently than you did before. So, the rune level of play is a whole different thing. I find myself, when I run the game, that I'm real skilled at that earlier level, because that's typically what you do a lot of. And I introduce a rune lord into the setting, and I'm into the situation, and I'm realizing I'm fumbling rules left and right. I've just got to get more experience at rune level play. It's a different game. I should point out that the hero wars have traditionally been in the near future in playing RuneQuest. So what you do when you hit the rune levels and then you start doing this thing called hero questing is kind of black boxed. That may change in the future, but traditionally for RuneQuest, really getting into the thick of the hero wars, when the magic starts mutating and the world nears cataclysm and all sorts of different ways to manipulate mythology are occurring, the game doesn't really do that, or it has not done that mechanically in the past.